up to you, and once she brings it up to you, it's for your mind.
This is recording, but it's not coming out on the speakers. Yeah, I have to yell. Okay, folks, if we could get started. Maybe not. Okay, folks, we're going to get started. Okay, have a seat, or not. Now, I'm using this mic because it's recording for the people at home. So if you're going to make comments, you have to hold the mic and yell so everybody can hear you. First of all, thank you all for coming and bringing such a spectacular day. Probably the nicest day. I got back a few days ago. I was going to have my comments first, but then I realized that I only knew Jackie for the second half of her life. So hopefully there's somebody here who would like to make comments that they knew her as a young woman or a kid. Okay? So anybody want to say a few words? Yeah, just nobody?
Well, I could say something.
Just say who you are.
My name is Roger, and I grew up in Etobicoke in Toronto, as did Jackie and a lot of friends that are still friends.
Closer to your mouth,
Sorry. And I was a neighbor of Bill's, actually. We lived on the same street in Etobicoke in the Kingsway. I lived at 49 Queen Anne, and you were at
58.
58. There we are. So, yes. So,
can you face the camera?
I always do everything wrong.
You're the guinea pig. Yeah.
So, something that I remember going back to when we were a lot younger, Bill and I skied. Jackie skied a little bit. And we were at a ski resort. And there were what do they call them? Rope tows or T-bars, not like we have today. And I was going up the T-bar with Jackie, and we tripped, fell over, and my ski pole went into Jackie's leg. And I think Bill was attending to her and had a look, and she had red under long underwear. So the first impression was that was all blood, but in fact it wasn't, and she recovered anyway. So that's a memory from many years ago.
Oh no, not me.
We're all Etobicoke, so
Yes.
we're shy.
Yes. Well, you're definitely not shy, Roger. But my name's Harvey Dennis, and I've known Jackie and Bill for a very long time. But after she remarried and was hooked up with John, we went to Italy with the pair of them, and we had a very good time over there. So that was a great memory. Yeah. We were all the different places we're in. Started in Rome and then went up somewhere up there. I can't remember the names.
Florence.
Yeah. And then we went to Venice.
We went up to the top of Italy, up
To Venice, and then we went up into the mountains. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good time up there. I found a really good restaurant with the best stew. We took you back, and it wasn't nearly as good the second time. Who would like to go next? Come on.
I'll start it there. Yeah, I'll go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sandy DiCarlo, and I'm Jackie's niece, Joey's daughter. Oh, where do I start? I'll keep it short. I guess if I go back, way back when we were little, the best memory I have, and you guys will remember is our spaghetti dinners, and how always the parents were in the dining room and the kids were always in the kitchen. And Jackie would never let any of us leave the table unless we finished our peas first. And we would always try and find different ways to hide them in napkins and stuff. But she got good. She'd come and check the garbage and she'd find them and she'd... Anyways, but we had lots of good times as kids, lots of good memories. And then I'll just speak a little more into the future for my mom. She's the last of the 3 kids. And I wish she could be here. She's got advanced or final stage dementia. We went to go see her yesterday, and I told her I was coming to see Jackie today. And she said, Jackie? And she said, oh, so nice. And she doesn't say much, so I was really happy that she got it. But my mom just loved Jackie. They spent so much time together, and the one memory that I'll share, I was very fortunate to be around a lot, being in Toronto, so I got to see Jackie a lot. But the 2 of them used to get together for lunches all the time at the condo. John and Bob would get kicked out, and then the 2 ladies would start with their wine, their lunch, turn on the old songs, and dance all over the condo all afternoon, and giggle like just little kids. And they had such a wonderful relationship, but I just wanted to send my love from my mom as well. Who's next? Anybody? Who's going? Who's next? We got to, yeah.
Get this over with. I've got a cue card and diazepam, so here we go. I'm Anne. I think you all know me, Jackie's daughter, and thank you for coming today. She was a beautiful and sensitive person, and I think any of you who saw her with a baby instantly understood those feelings. My relationship with her was complicated and sometimes difficult, but in spite of this, and in some parts because of this complexity and difficulty, she taught me a lot, and I'm grateful for that. One of the things that I most value was the emphasis that Mum and her mum, who was Gammy to us, put on reading. Mum taught me to read at a very young age. I remember sitting on her bed and reading a child's garden of verses. I decided to enhance the verses with my own illustrations and learned that that was not welcome. But she eventually trusted me with books again and gave me her copies of Little Women, Toby Tyler, Heidi, and Enid Blyton adventures. When I was a little older still, she made a real point of sitting me down and telling me not to judge a book by its cover. And that had a very meaningful impact on my life, even later when I realized that for many people, myself included sometimes, it's more a platitude than a practice. Mum cared a lot about her cover, how she was perceived, how she was judged, and that caused a lot of suffering for her, which makes it all the nicer to hear your stories today. Some of my favorite memories involve her sort of laughing uncontrollably at things that she thought she shouldn't be laughing at. I thought of a couple of examples, but I'm not going to share them because she'd be mortified if she weren't already dead. So while I wouldn't wish the disease of Alzheimer's on anyone, it afforded Mum respite from the shyness and self-consciousness that she experienced throughout her life. And I was able to see her not care what other people thought. She ate ice cream with abandon. She sat in other people's Mercedes. She wore rings on every finger and told people what she thought. That meant that a lot of strangers were told they were cute. So I think my favorite sort of, where I'll leave this, my favorite sort of picture that is emblematic of that part of her life was her in Sunset Manor. She had a chair and was sitting in the hallway leaning back a little bit with her feet up on the nurse's desk. No bra, no makeup, sorry, Mom, and just enjoying herself. And so I sort of imagine her seated this way beside Brother Bob, wherever that may be, laughing really hard at some of his antics and feeling at peace. All right, somebody else?
I'll just say a few words. My name's Bill Chamberlain. Jackie and I were married for almost 20 years, and the product of our union is David over here and Ann, who just spoke. And watching them in particular with what's gone on over the last few years with Jackie, I have to say that it's a relief that she now is gone and resting in peace. It's a horrible, horrible disease to have, and the whole family has experiences with their parents as well, and I don't like to say I'm glad, but I'm glad that her children can rest now and not be thinking about this every day. So, thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm one of John's sons. My brother Chris is here. Our sister Susie, who loved Jackie very much, can't be here. She's living in the UK. My wife Karen is here, and one of our boys, Theodore, is here. And our other boy, Tristan, he couldn't attend. He's at school in Vermont. So I just want to say on behalf of our side of the family how much we love Jackie. She was an amazing partner to our dad, made him so happy. And they did so many great things together and traveled and had all these wonderful friends. Our boys adored Nana, as she was known to them, Nana Jackie, and she absolutely doted on them and loved them as if they were her own blood relatives. So we miss her. We miss the Jackie that we knew. As others have said, she's at rest now, and we're thankful for that. And we're thankful that we knew her as well as we did. And she had times at my brother's cottage and many times at our farm. We visited them when they were in Florida and traveling, and we're thankful that she was part of our lives.
So my name is Lena Chamberlain, and of course David, and our daughter Selena and Wesley. My mother-in-law Jackie's grandchildren, Wesley and Selena. Some of the memories I have of Jackie is actually through coming up to Collingwood. And in the summertime, John and Jackie would welcome and take their grandchildren in, through a few weeks in the summer. And, they had great times, bike riding, going to the tennis courts, swimming, going out to your country house, and really enjoying themselves. So, Jackie was a woman that loved fine things. She liked, fine dinners, and she loved shopping, and she was, very beautiful woman. So, we're happy that she's going to rest in peace, and she will be missed by us all. Thank you.
This will be difficult. I tried to write something down about my mom. I remember my mother, as loving as she was to everybody, and I had a way of making my mom laugh through the years, saying crazy things and stuff. I really enjoyed sort of watching how much I could try to get my mom to laugh at things I'd do. That's something I really remember about my mom. I saw her, before she passed away, and I knew it was time. Terrible disease that she suffered from, and horrible thing to watch. And I'm just hoping my my mom is with her brother, taking it easy up there, having fun. Rest in peace, Mom. And like I used to whisper in her ear before I left, I'd always say, I love you, Mom, hoping to get maybe a reaction. And I think she knew. I think she could understand. So I'm just glad that, she's not suffering any longer. And, she's resting in peace, and that's it. Love you, Mom.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks. Well, as you've already guessed, I shared the second part of Jackie's life, but I do want to see these are the technology for old people. We don't know those. No? All right. Went over your head. I guess the first question I have is, do you know what the main events in 1989 were? No? NAFTA? Remember NAFTA? You're too young. The Berlin Wall opened, didn't get knocked down. There was the San Francisco earthquake, which was pretty bad. Can't read my notes on the other one. But the biggest event was I met Jackie in 1989. And the way I met her is quite interesting because we used to go to singles dances, all these divorced people sort of frayed at the edges, hoping for a second life and a second partner. And I knew quite a few because we went to the dances quite often. But then this gorgeous woman came in the door and I went, wow. And she was just incredibly beautiful. And I think all the women felt that too. Anyway, she was with her boyfriend, I guess, and they sat down and I thought, I've got to somehow talk to this woman. So I waited and waited, and then her boyfriend went to the bar to get a drink, and I jumped in and said, come on, have a dance, and talked her into dancing. And I found out two things. Her name was Jackie. She worked with Mike Michael. That was it. And then, of course, went home, and you don't usually meet the same people again. So I thought, I'm not going to let this go. And so I had this plan. I think I'd seen it in a movie. But first of all, I phoned the Mike Michael and found out her name was Chamberlain, Jackie Chamberlain. And then I went and bought a long stem rose, put it in a nice box with a note, and sent it to the Mike Michael. And obviously it got there because my note said, I'll be in the parking lot at the Mike Michael on Thursday at 5 o'clock. And you can do one of two things. You can tell me to get lost, or you can have a drink with me. And she said, okay, buy me a drink. So we went to the doctor's house in Kleinberg, where 4 years later we were married. So it was worth the effort. My notes. It was an unusual couple because Jackie came from the refined avenues of the Kingsway and Ainsley Gardens, and I was just a kid from the mean streets of a grimy industrial city in the north of England. But we made it work. And according to the statistics, second marriages usually last 6 years. Divorce rate 60% for second marriages. So we did better than that. We'd been married for 30 years, been together for 33 years, and they were very happy years. Somebody said we traveled a lot. We went with Harvey and Gay to Italy. We went to Greece, and we loved Spain. So once I retired, we used to spend 2 or 3 months in the south of Spain. Oh yeah, and we played tennis. We went to the theatre also with Harvey and Gay. And then I have to go to the last few years because they were so difficult. I think she started maybe 15 years ago with Alzheimer's. And things that happen that you don't realize at the time, if you were knowledgeable about it, you'd probably pick up on it, but I wasn't. And one thing that made me feel rotten years later on was we used to go out for dinner quite a bit, and Jackie started saying, well, you order for me. And I did, and then she kept saying, order for me, please. And I kept saying, why? Order for yourself. We don't have the same food. But she wouldn't. She wanted me to order for her. And I realized years later that she could no longer read a menu. And I felt so terrible at that point. Anyway, about 8 years ago, it was, 10 years ago, it was diagnosed by some tests and an MRI that she was suffering from Alzheimer's. That's when we moved to Collingwood because the facilities for Alzheimer's and dementia, I went to the better here. It's just there's not as many people who need those services in the city. So I looked after her until about 6 years ago, and I didn't realize, well, I did, I guess, having to look after, having to bathe her, having to try and change a diaper. Well, she didn't want that. I mean, she had her pride and her dignity. And that's when the manager of Alzheimer's services in this region came to see me and said, you really need to put her in a home where she can be properly taken care of. And fortunately, Sunset Manor had a vacancy that's just in Collingwood itself. But that was the hardest decision of all. You know, you make a promise to take care of someone in sickness and in health, and suddenly I was failing in that promise. Anyway, she went in, and we already heard the dementia gradually, so the Alzheimer's gradually ate her up. She just, the body, the mind, finally the soul. Sorry. And the last 2 years, she was just a shell. There was no communication, no feeling, no recognition, an awful disease. So it was a relief when she died in January. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
I'm Wes Morden, Jackie's brother Bob's son, and my memories of Jackie go back to a house on Ainsley Garden in Etobicoke, which was our grandparents' house, and I recall just being very young, and she would be on her knees talking with me, you know, sweetly and gently. But as I grew, she, you know, would adapt to my age level and talk to me as I, you know, as a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, and later in my 20s. And she was always curious and interested to know what was going on with me, what I thought about this or that, and I appreciated that. And she was the youngest of my dad's siblings. So in a way, I identified with her more because she seemed younger than Joey and younger than my dad. And she kind of wanted to let me know it, you know, in her way, that she could speak to my level. And then that also got reflected later on when we came up to Bolton to David and Lena's wedding in 2004, and that was the same year that my daughter was born, Isabella, and she was about 4 or 5 months old. And after I think the day after the wedding, we went over to Jackie and John's place, and there she was on her hands and knees playing with Isabella, and that's really kind of what really sticks with me about Jackie is how she sought to connect with the youth in me and my daughter. And anyway, thank you.
Okay, there we go. And help yourself to food. So the last thing I saw was KRT. Did you know what you said? Go ahead. It's a Western.
Dave came down, Willie's, it was just the three of us. We got, all three of us were talking, it was crazy. Because when Paul's on, and he just.
Yeah, I'm in Virginia, and he's 7 minutes from Minnesota. Minneapolis. Yes, he was. I love hearing stories about our dad. touch the slideshow with all of his hats.
I was 80 on my birthday.
Yes. I have 2 kids, a son that's 32, a daughter who's 29 tomorrow. They're in Richmond also.
We're all in the same year.
Close family.
We just passed our 65th anniversary of the day of dinner.
Yes, yes, yes. I was 5 yeah. I think for 1989, so that was the year I'm on. So that's all I did. That's just totally like, I wake up, rose and start getting teary. And I was in my 20s. I know. Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes.
Kept our, yeah. Security numbers in our home. I'll be looking for people. When I was
To be able to stay together for a long period of time, a lot of luck to see.
We're staying actually, we've been in Mississauga, last night we stayed in Holmes, which was nice.